Hello, everyone who is already here. Let's wait 1 or 2 minutes more so nobody misses the whole webinar. Couple of minutes more only. Thank you. Okay, shall we start? So hi, everyone. Thanks for joining in and welcome to the fourth webinar of our monthly series Extended. Today we are talking about doing sales, but in much prettier ways. So in B2B or B2C sales world, it's kind of hard to explain why and how a product or a service would be of value to your prospects by just speaking to them. And that's why we do online meetings, share presentations, or share our screen and show them what we got. But what if we could do it in much memorable ways? My name is Orkun Ceylan, the Customer Success Manager of 3D Tallo. And today we will be having around a 50-minute session where professionals from within the industry will share their perspectives with us. As a reminder, we will be recording the session and posting it on our social media channels. So if everybody is ready, let's get started by introducing our speakers to you. Firstly, our sales director at 3D Tallo, Mitri. If you speak like 1 minute with him, he will probably convince you to buy his grandfather's ancient car for 10K. But hi, Mitri.
Hi, and also welcome from my behalf. And just one comment, should be Orkun change the slide to the introduction spot.
Sorry. Yeah. And then our sales representative, Timo, will continue. He knows how to bring out the best virtual environments to increase the potential of a closed deal. Hello, Timo.
Yeah, hello.
And finally, we have Sara Hapaniemi, Maria, as a guest speaker from Trader Experts Global. Today, she will tell us about virtual exhibitions. Welcome, Sara and Maria. If we can wait a second, I need to check something. There's some technical issue I need to handle, so thank you for bearing with me.
At the same time, when Orkun is fixing the problem or the technical issue, as we all know, with the remote meetings and the webinar, we might have some difficulties, but we are surviving with this new kind of world. But at the same time, I would like to say for the starter that this is, like Orkun mentioned, this is the fourth time of extended webinar series. And we had really good webinars, and the topics were about the immersive learning and also the design space, our tool for the industry companies and the engineering companies. But today we are talking about how to help salespeople in these, I would say, in these quite strange times, because like we all know, past year has been quite different from what we have used to. And this is really close to my heart, and I'm always one of my biggest passion has always been to help salespeople to prove their skills. And now today I think we have the topic that is really great and really related to help salespeople.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you, and sorry for the inconvenience, but I will start from where I left. In the end of the session, we will go through the comments or questions that you guys might have. So make sure to write any questions on the chat so we go through them in the end. So shall we start with talking about the current situation of the sales world in general, Mitri? I mean, the things have obviously changed a lot past year. Remote selling tools are high in demand, and face-to-face communication is very limited. So tools that allow you to communicate better have become so much more important. Would you like to give us a deeper insight into this, Dmitry?
Yeah, I would love to do it. Like I mentioned, like I said, just that the world has changed a lot. And the change happened actually in an instant. I can still remember that it was one day in last year, March, when the things changed. And we were like forced to adapt in the new way, how to do business and how to do sales because of this global pandemic. The first thing that changed, like an instant, was that the face-to-face meetings disappeared overnight. And for many salespeople, the calendars were emptied of the face-to-face or on-site meetings overnight. And the sales changed in a rapid pace or on an instant. One of the biggest things that changed is that when we can't visit the customers, and if the salespeople or the company has a physical product that you are showing to your customer, the lack of the physical product presentations were like thrown into trash over one night, and we needed to invent new ways to show the value of our products or solutions. Fortunately or luckily, the calendars were not emptied completely in many business areas, and the meetings were replaced by remote meetings. I think most of the salespeople joining us today or listening to this later on, we are quite used to have the meetings using Teams or Zoom or Google Meet. But the difference here is that, for example, in our sales process, we used to do it in a way that we had the first meeting using the Teams, and then we visited the customer and had the on-site meeting or face-to-face meeting, just to gain the trust of the potential customer. Because most of us, I would say that most of us felt like that to gain the trust of the customer, the one greatest way to do it is the face-to-face meeting with them. Actually visit them, see the site, see, for example, the factory, and show our products and expertise face-to-face. But now, because of this global pandemic, the world changed to the remote meetings in an instant. And one of the biggest challenges in these remote meetings or the remote time is that when you close your camera on the remote meeting, and there is only your own sound, or your own voice, what you can use to prove your skills, expertise, and the value of your products or services to your customer. Of course, you can share your screen easily, you can share videos, you can share PowerPoint presentation, but that's not the same. That's not the same that we are used to. And like I said, one of the biggest challenge at these times, if you are selling the physical products to your customer and you can't visit the customer, have the face-to-face meetings, it can be hard to describe the value to your customers. And I will give you one example. I have a pen here, and I'm the salespeople here. This is quite traditional metaphor for salespeople, but I have the pen here, and I'm the salespeople, and I need to convince my customer that this is the best pen that they have ever used. In a normal times, before COVID or before these remote meetings, I would go to the customer, visit them on site, shake hands, watch straight to the eyes, and said that, do you know what? I have the best pencil in the world. Would you like to test it? And after that, I would hand it over to the customer and ask that, sign into this contract. No, I wouldn't do that, but test this pen and test how smoothly you can write with it. Don't you think that this is the best pencil that you have ever used? And if the pencil is the best one that they have ever used, the customer will say it. But when we are in the remote meeting, it doesn't help that I will put this onto my camera and say that, take a look at this. This is the greatest pencil that I have ever seen, and I'm sure that you will love it. So that's the one example. It's not about the product that you need to, or the customer need to touch it or feel it. It's also about the interaction, lack of interaction in the remote meetings. And when we combine these, and because of these challenges, which I just mentioned, as we all know, it was and it is harder to get the customer interested or understand the benefits of the product or your service without touching it, feeling it, and see the benefits on their own eyes. Also, the decision-making time extended a lot. And one reason for that is that when we need to gain the trust of the new potential customer remotely, it's harder. It's harder to show the benefits and the value of your products. And also, according to these changes, the customers need more information and reasoning to buy the products or service. Like I said, videos, animations, and presentations are a really good way. But by combining this new way of doing sales to really uncertain situation and buying caution from our customers' sides, it's harder to convince them. It's harder to gain the trust. And also the last thing, which is quite important and I think reflects or affects to many salespeople at this time, is that the leadership and the teamwork become also a remote task. It might be in a way that we didn't realize that in the first months because we needed to just adapt our process in a fast pace to this new remote selling world. But at the same time, also the teamwork and the leadership changed to remote meetings. And the question behind this topic is how to orientate new salespeople fully remotely. I would say that's a quite new experience for many of us. And the problem is that if you have a new salespeople and you have some physical product that you are selling, what about if this new salespeople or new employee can't really see it, touch it, and feel it? Because you can't send like a forest machine to new employees' home and say that test it and feel it before you start to sell it. That's one and big problem which we are facing in the teamwork and in the leadership. And also the one interesting part is that how to orientate into something that is new to even experienced salespeople. But these are the problems that from our side, and to be honest, actually we are also facing these same problems with our customers at the moment. But here at Freeditala, it's good that we are working in a virtual environment context. So we were able to change our sales process quite fast. And also, it's been really great the past 1 year that we have been helping our customers to change their sales process into this virtual or remote times. And these are just one examples, and I can speak like maybe 2 hours about these topics, but I will hand out to Orkun and Timo about the actual products or the virtual environments, how we can really help salespeople and companies to improve their sales activities at these strange times.
Thank you. Thanks, Mitri. And yeah, like you mentioned, as a company who were involved in a lot of face-to-face sales activities, it also hit us really hard in the beginning. But we luckily adapted quickly as we realized that what consequences were awaiting for us if we didn't take concrete actions and make a change in our sales flow. So we have started adapting new technologies that helped our customers understand what is their buying points. So Timo, you were in the middle of this process as one of our sales representatives. Could you tell us what has changed in the way that companies do sales actually?
Yes, I can, and thank you for that, and also thank you, Mitri, for elaborating on these challenges that the companies are facing in these difficult times. So, lack of physical presence due to this pandemic and also the push for a more ecological way of living really makes you think about how companies need to improve their ways of presenting themselves and also their products. And let's start with the basics. So what keeps the company running? Well, it's money, of course. And how do you make money as a business? By making sales. And on that accord, without undermining all of the other important processes in your businesses, sales is the most important one. It keeps the money running. And depending on the scale of your business, you are potentially selling to people and companies all around the globe. Some of those are existing customers who already know you, and some of them are people and companies who might have heard about your name once or twice. So there can be plenty of variety in the existing knowledge of your company and your products as well. You have already established some level of trust with your existing customers since they know how it feels to be working with you, but there are always ways to building that trust with new customers as well as the existing ones even stronger. And those can be done by marketing activities, for example. Your own brand, your company's brand, those are very efficient in shaping the purchasing decision of your potential buyer. But when there's competition in the field, conveying your value the best way possible is the key. And when it comes to more complex items and or services, like Mitri mentioned, the forest machines, doing that might be problematic if you're still using the same tools that people were using back in the early 2000s. With companies investing heavily on digitalization even before this whole pandemic started, you cannot allow yourself to drop off out of the competition just because you want to stick to your old tools. With the technology moving forward with such a rapid pace, we have 5G connections now, self-driving cars, Neuralinks, and many other advances in technology that it sometimes might feel like a bit of a struggle to keep up with all of that. But thankfully, there are people like us who keep up with this latest information and then connect that information to your business processes. Then the first step that the companies and you might think when about using these selling and marketing tools of today is the questions are generally always the same. It starts with evaluating your processes and figuring out what works for you and also what doesn't work for you. A few examples of those questions might be like, what's the message you are sending? What are the tools you are currently using? And also, what's the value of your product and how to present that to your client the best possible way? And the simple questions like that are the ones that you will think about when you're figuring out the best way to modernize that tool set of yours. And next I have two types of virtual environments for you that can be used to convey the value to your existing and potential new customers, like during this pandemic and even after, hopefully things return back to normal. Both of them have their pros and cons, and it's important for you as a sales or marketing professional to choose the right one for your use case. And let's start with these 360 environments. They are the lighter version of the two examples I have for you today. These 360 viewers, they've been around for a long time, and many companies have already taken them into their marketing and selling tool sets. The environments are either photographed or 3D modeled, and the use cases are usually to present the client with information very easily and very efficiently, since all of these 360 viewers can usually be viewed in your browser. So basically all your client needs is a working internet connection and then also a device that is compatible. And here we have an example of a 360 solution that we made for a Finnish file driver manufacturer, Junta. And in this example, we have combined both 360, like these pictures from real environments, and also 3D models. And all of this, like I said, works in a browser, web browser, where you can navigate to see this factory tour or the 3D models of the file drivers. And with these 360 pictures, tours, you can add different kind of hotspots, interactions to keep the user, to keep the potential client engaged in this environment. Like you can have pictures like this or information added here. And we have also added this blueprint here for easier navigation. And the same is applied to the 3D showroom. The value is presented with different kind of interactions. And the use is much more intuitive in these 3D showrooms and 360 viewers when compared to just browsing some PDF files or PowerPoint presentations, for example. The engagement is the key factor here that keeps your client really interested. And as you can see, I can see the 3D model here. I have some interactions that open new information. And I can see everything that's important, in this case for Junta, to sell their products and present their products the best way possible.
Timo, can I ask a question here?
Sure.
So yeah, the visual was really nice, but when you're selling a machine like this, obviously it looks really cool to be able to show those features. But what about more basic products? Like, could you get value of these technologies if you were selling some shoes, let's say?
Yes, you can. I've seen plenty of examples for it, like clothes, shoes, and also of accessories like watches, for example. And these showrooms are a very efficient way with B2C customers as well.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for
Yes, and let's then move on to the immersive world, so to speak. And those are the virtual reality environments. And this is where the real meat of the immersive and engaging content really comes in. The virtual environments are generally created from 3D models that have been then visualized to perfection. It's extremely useful when you have a more complex or a larger product that you cannot just send to your clients. Like Mitri said in the beginning with the forest machine example. You can very efficiently present the value of your product to all around the world without never leaving your office. And to add up to that effectivity that virtual reality brings, it's been studied that your brain really understands the environment in virtual reality almost the same way as a real environment. So basically, your brain doesn't care if you are looking at the real thing or something in virtual reality. The reaction is basically the same. And the current interactions with them being limited to Teams meetings at the moment, your ways of affecting that decision to choose your product over your competitor's product, those are very limited. So creating a visual VR model of your product or creating some kind of immersive VR experience that presents your brand, it goes a long way in strengthening that purchasing decision that your client will eventually make. And also with collaboration options, you can join the client in that virtual environment to discuss more about the solution. And here I have a video for you of this celery boats. And it's a VR environment where we have put this 3D model of this. Well, it's a boat basically. It's a product showcase. And as it's a larger one, it's not something that you can just send to your clients all around the world, just like that. And as you can see, the boat is the center of attention. There are different interactions there, and it's a really efficient way to present the product to your clients. And if you want some added effect, you can also make some interactions there, like you can see now the boat is moving. You could change the colors, materials, or just highlight the best selling points of your product to your clients. And with the virtual reality solutions, at the moment, the necessity of the VR glasses makes it much more viable in a business-to-business field. So good thing there is that the technology is moving forward at the moment at quite rapid pace, like it has been mentioned here. It's gonna take a few more years for virtual reality glasses and augmented reality glasses to be cost efficient enough to be in consumer hands, but it's not so far away. So the viability to business to customer markets will be here very soon. And to add even more value to these virtual reality options, they are very efficient also to educate your own staff. So like Mitra mentioned in his part, it's also very useful for that.
Okay, thank you, Timo. Great examples. Like you mentioned, the sales decision usually lies on the successful connection between the sales rep and the client. And being able to understand the client needs and also being able to show clearly what you offer to them is very crucial. And just to give an example on that, if you were having this meeting, this webinar only as a phone call, probably you wouldn't remember me or what I'm saying in 2 weeks, but because we have some visuals, you can see my face or hear us talking at the same time, it is much more memorable. And now imagine doing this in much more effective ways. That will unlock your team's sales potential. And next up, our guest speakers, Sara and Maria from Czech, will share their ideas on this and give us more insights into virtual exhibitions. Please go ahead.
Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you 3D Talo for having us here today. Let me just just a second. So now here I'm on the first slide. So yes, I am Maria.
And I am Sara. Hi.
Yeah, me and Sara have both been in the events and exhibition industry for over a decade now, and our company Czech helps companies to participate exhibitions globally. We help companies to tackle risks related to exhibiting in foreign countries, and we also take care of all the practical arrangements concerning participations. And well, perhaps it was already mentioned here earlier, but the word Czech comes from the words Trade Show Experts Global.
We are here today to tell you shortly about the challenges and solutions that companies are facing during these very special times. And of course, we are talking about the exhibition point of view. So let's start. As you all probably know, exhibitions are very important face-to-face meeting platform that enables companies to meet large amount of potential clients and partners in a very short period of time. During our careers, we have experienced that there are certain main elements that help creating exhibition success. These start from choosing the suitable exhibitions for your company exactly. And then, of course, effective project scheduling that takes into account all the important areas and, of course, in time. And then budgeting, of course, is important. And then setting exhibition goals. So you need to know what you are looking for from the exhibition and what you want to achieve exactly. You need to have a stand that supports your main goal and also shows your main message that is targeted to your target audience exactly. So the people that you want to reach at the exhibition. Then effective invitation campaign is important, and also well chosen and well prepared stand staff is very crucial, as is also motivating the staff to do their best at the exhibition. And then last but not least is the post-show work. That is actually that element that brings life to all those promises that were made at the exhibition.
Well, as we all know, exhibitions have now been closed for over a year, 13 months actually to be exact. This has meant a tremendous change in the demand for virtual exhibitions. And we could also say that the virtual exhibitions are now becoming a blooming trend among exhibition organizers. Me and Sara, we have both visited several virtual exhibitions from different countries, and we have noticed that in order to succeed, the same elements apply in virtual exhibitions as in live exhibitions. From our experience, we would like to share what most of the virtual exhibitions are like at the moment. So they are usually a platform for companies to showcase their expertise and products. And it happens by adding company information and video there, and then having some kind of interaction like a chat or meeting through bookings. But we have also noticed that the virtual exhibitions, well, even though they are now blooming, it's still evolving, and there are some difficulties for companies to stand out from rest of the companies, and it can actually seem quite non-personal when you are not able to just go and say hi to someone at the company booth, for example.
We talk a lot with many companies from different industries, and we have learned that companies are facing a lot of new challenges. What most of them have in common is that sales and marketing teams have to find new ways to engage potential clients. As live events and exhibitions are cancelled and companies are not able to bring their clients and distributors to their own premises to show their products and manufacturing, and also, of course, to meet people. This is something that has arisen new questions like, for example, how to raise interest in our products, how to showcase our products or factory, how to bring something more to Teams or Zoom meetings to convince the clients, and how to reach potential clients, how to build trust, and how to stay in potential clients' minds.
These are questions that have been asked from us, and these questions have actually led us to search for new solutions. This has also led us to a closer cooperation with 3D Talo, that has also taken up on this challenge and has effectively searched with us for new solutions to help companies in this exceptional situation. What we have found as a very useful solution are virtual 360 showrooms. They are individually branded space with no limitation on size or structure, and they actually help to stand out at the virtual exhibitions. The virtual spaces can be embedded to a suitable environment, as Timo here also showed us already earlier. But basically, the environments can be anything from factory surroundings to office, or why not even a construction site. So basically, imagination is the only limit here, and the products can also be brought to the space as 3D models. And well, as mentioned also earlier, but the information can be added there as clickable hotspots, which can contain like product labels, PDF files, pictures, videos. And we have also noticed that it is possible to add some interactions in the showroom. So you can have there a chat, and then there can be a hotspot for opening a Teams connection, for example, with the visitors to meet with someone from your sales team or an expert or whatever. And then there can also be a contact us form. And then, well, why not something else like an order form, perhaps? In addition to what virtual showrooms are like, we also want to share with you where they can be used. So as Timo said here earlier, they can be on your website. So basically the only thing needed is a web browser to go into the room and for the visitor to see what is in there. It is also, and many of our clients have actually used it as a sales support function. So it's really good for that. It can be used as a tool for retailers as well. Your distributors can easily access it and show it to potential customers. But it can also be used in press conferences and launching events and in support of webinars. And then also there can be demonstration of production facilities that are shot with 360 camera.
And then how we think the future will look like. Well, there will certainly be exhibitions again, but many of them will most likely be hybrid events later on, since that allows even more participants. Later on, when the situation becomes more normal, virtual showrooms can still be an essential part of the participation to maximize additional visibility. Your showroom could be, for example, added as a link to your catalog information to attract more viewers to your products. Also, product presentations can be held in a virtual space at exhibitions. This could mean, for example, that your salesperson can be sitting in Finland while the exhibition is held in Germany. And then when you have a visitor at your stand, this visitor and your expert can meet at the virtual space. This, of course, will also create an innovative experience for the visitor, which has an extra value. And then, well, huge benefit of the virtual showroom is also that you can use it to create continuous brand image, as you can use it before, at and after the exhibition. That would be basically all we have today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Maria and Sarah. Great presentation. And virtual exhibitions are definitely one great way to deliver your customer promise to your clients. And visiting stands without traveling is a clear value, obviously, and also a great point on the post-pandemic situation that they will become more hybrid. And I will take over the screen right now.
While you are Orkun doing it, I have one question to Sarah and Maria. First of all, thanks for the great presentation. But my question is, actually, I know the answer to this question, but I think many salespeople are wondering at these times, because also the exhibition industry managed to change the situation from the on-site exhibitions to virtual exhibitions. And also we here in 3D Talo, we received multiple invitations to virtual exhibitions. And I'm quite sure that many salespeople are not familiar to these virtual exhibitions. So if I'm a sales director in company A and I receive an invitation to the virtual exhibition, how you can convince me that is it worth of joining the virtual exhibition?
Yeah. So Sara, do you want me to begin? Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So how to convince you to visit it? Well, first of all, it's so easy. It is so simple, and it doesn't take up a lot of your time. So it definitely is not an effort to go and visit at the exhibition. At the same time, when you visit, you are able to see what happens in the virtual exhibition world, so that you are then able to, perhaps see better from your customer's point of view if you want to exhibit at an exhibition that is, for example, held as hybrid event in the future. So these are a couple of points that come straight to my mind, but I'm not sure if Sara wants to add something.
Well, those were both good points and covered it quite well, by my opinion. But also, it's a very, I think virtual exhibition is very easy access. So it's very, very simple, and it doesn't require maybe as much assets in that way as going on site physically also.
Yeah.
That's a point I wanted to add.
Yeah, great answers, I would say.
Thanks. Okay, so also up until now, we were speaking of how it was and how it is in the sales world. But hopefully soon enough, the pandemic will be over and we will get back to our usual lifestyles. And now the question here, will the sales world convert back to the traditional ways, or is the new version here to stay? So Mitri will answer these questions for us now.
Yeah. So like Sara and Maria said, that in future in exhibition industry, there will be some hybrid exhibitions where they combine the best parts of the virtual exhibitions and the traditional ones. And I would like to see the same thing happening in here in sales process also. But first of all, like we all know, there is a climate change happening right now, and we all want to fight against it. So with these virtual tools, virtual environments, remote meetings, we can reduce the unnecessary troubles. And for one example, in my previous work life, I was a sales director in a company that most of the salespeople spend almost half of their working hours sitting in a car, traveling from customer to customer. And like I said, it was an important part of gaining the trust of the potential customers and keep up with the good relationship with the existing customers. And I don't blame anyone that was the how we did it before this big change, this global pandemic. But nowadays we can reduce the unnecessary travel, and that's environmental friendly. That's a one good part and topic to remember. Also, the virtual environments in this past year have been proved to be really efficient. And the main thing here is that now the world is ready for remote meetings. Now the world is ready. The world needed to adapt to this remote world, to these remote meetings, virtual environments. And I'm quite sure that there is zero salespeople in the world that says that, okay, remote meetings doesn't work, or the virtual tools doesn't work. When the COVID is over, I will go back to my car and spend 50% of my working hours in traveling to the customers. I'm quite sure that the salespeople are more ready now, and also the customers are more ready to this new situation. So why would we like throw these things that we have learned in 1 year? Why would we throw those into trash bin and go back to what was normal? And also, as all we who take part of the sales process, we know that sales is purely mathematics. If you can save the precious time from sitting in a car or in a plane and use that time for doing more prospecting, doing more contacting, and eventually have more meetings, you will make more sales with these tools. When you just like take one step from the just having the Teams meeting and use all the proven to be efficient tools in your sales, you will make more sales. And at the end, I would like to think that this change, the COVID and the pandemic, was a horrible thing to happen. And it was a horrible thing in many sides, but there is a good part here. And this digitalization, how we use the virtual tools, how we are now more ready to interact in Teams meetings or Zoom meetings, that is the positive side of this. And this pandemic forced us to change and adapt to something that was happening even before this COVID time. So to summarize, it's environmental friendly, but also you can save time, you can save costs, you can make more sales, and also at the same time, the message is that the world is ready. Just adapt your sales process to that, and you will be the winner. You will come out as a winner from this COVID pandemic.
Great, thank you, Dmitry. And I definitely agree that some things that this pandemic brought into our lives, although we didn't like them in the beginning, they are here to stay. And in the sales world, actually, we are in a stage that we need the help from technological solutions to close these deals much easier. And that is actually why we wanted to wrap up the current situation in the industry and where we are heading in this webinar session. Well, that was it. And now we can, if we have any comments or questions from the audience, we can go ahead with that. Let me check the chat. Do we have any questions for now?
There is no questions, and the questions can be typed to the chat, or if it's possible, I'm not even sure that, but if it's possible to open the microphone and ask the question.
Yeah.
But while our attendees are thinking about the tricky question, should we talk more about the sales support community, the new idea of us?
Yes. 1 second.
And now you are booking a meeting with me.
1 second.
Like you said, I'm that good salespeople. Colleagues booked the meeting with me. No.
I will come back to that in a second.
Yeah, you can share the screen. I can talk at the same time.
Yes.
But like I mentioned when I started, is that this topic is really close to my passion and close to my heart. And we have all faced I would say, challenging year because of this pandemic. And nowadays it's more and more important to share the good ideas, share the tricks and hints how we all have survived from this pandemic year, how we have adapted our sales process, and what are the key benefits or what are the key parts of our process, how we can be winners after this pandemic. And for that, we thought that it would be great to start this, if you change the slide, that I will say the name correctly, sales support community. And that means that we are arranging monthly meetings And we are inviting all of you and all of from your network to our sales support community. We will arrange monthly meetings, and you don't need to be like afraid that those meetings are purely treated those offers and what we can do. No, that's not the case. The case is that we want to invite all the salespeople to have discussion around this topic, how to adapt your sales process to this changing situation, how to get the best value out of virtual tools, and also share the hints and the tricks that you have learned in this past year. And now I stole your words, Orlin.
No, completely fine. Yeah, but to repeat, it's kind of like a support group to each other, where we have like casual discussions around the sales topics. So it doesn't have to be only solutions or virtual reality related things. But if it sounds interesting to you, get in contact with me. Here is my number. It's going to be first a monthly meeting, but we will also create a WhatsApp group to keep the conversation active, to follow up with the most recent events and trends in the sales world. So please welcome and text me or call me so I can hook you in. But yes, that was all.
I'd like to add here that Sara and Maria, you are also warmly welcome to our sales support community.
Yes, and thank you for everybody's contribution today, and thank you for joining to all our participants, and hopefully see you in the next webinar next month. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.